This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
Billions and billions of dollars in waste, fraud, and abuse.
This data scientist, she goes by DataRepublican. How much do you think is being wasted or stolen?
I would say it's over 100 billion. But what's more important is what they're doing with that money.
Are you ever scared? Because exposing things like that, the ways people are making big money secretly within our government, it seems like it could put you at risk. We're on our way right now to meet this data scientist. She goes by DataRepublican. She's very, very concerned about her safety and security, so we're going to meet her at an undisclosed location. Her posts have been amplified by Elon Musk on X. She has a relationship with Elon Musk and DOGE, and she is deaf, so we're going to use an interpreter for the interview. How did you get the attention of Elon Musk?
Okay, honestly, I don't know. You'll have to ask him, but I'm grateful. I have no idea how he found me. But one day, you just, I tweeted what everybody should. I just tweeted what I found, and then he tweeted everyone should follow the DataRepublican. My jaw dropped to the floor. And I thought, what? Is this real life? But I guess tech people find tech people. So since then, it's been just a whirlwind, moving fast since.
Has he been using any of the information you've discovered specifically with DOGE?
I want to be clear. I don't communicate directly with Elon. He found me and supports my work. But I have communicated with some people that are involved with DOGE just on the side. And I don't want to say much more about that, but I have a working relationship.
Have you thought about working directly for DOGE?
Yeah, I've thought about it. When I went to DC, the DOGE people recruited me DC, but we have connected. But it's my personal feeling that I will have more impact where I am right now, and I think that's better for me and for the people to remain separate. And I think they agree with me.
What do you say to people who think that this data, these databases, these numbers have been out there for a long time, that they've been public for a long time, and that it's sort of like a publicity stunt that they're getting all this attention now?
That's just an ignorant assumption. Data does not equal transparency. I am a database expert, a database scientist. I am a kernel engineer, and the numbers do not lie. I have many patents on indexes and engineering the databases. And the problem with the databases, it's like you have a gigantic book. Imagine your book has no index, no table of contents. So how do you find a word in the book? You can't. It's too big. There's too many words unless you read the entire thing. It's the same thing with the government database. What I did was I added the index to the book so that people can actually find the awards, what they're looking for. You have to understand, without AI, this would not be possible because the book is so large, nobody can sit down and read the entire thing.
So is it an AI algorithm that you came up with? Is that how you're able to find all of this data that other people haven't been able to find?
Let me think a moment about that, how to best answer that. Let me think about that.
Yeah, I know it's technical.
I use AI to analyze the Form 990s, that we can find. The award searches. People can search all of that. And what the AI does is it helps to figure out the connections. And the information's been out there. My website helps you search it, but the AI is what puts the connections together. And it helps me figure out the relationship. The other use of AI was back in December. And we used AI to read 1,000 pages omnibus, the omnibus bill. And so we used the AI to go through the omnibus bill and read those thousands of pages to help us understand, because thousands of pages of reading, one human, 10 humans.
I know your focus was USAID. What's next? Is there a certain part of the government now that you are really focusing in on?
Yeah, two things. So my project right now is to work on analyzing connections and relationships between people in the government, because if you research people long enough, you start to notice that they're all working together. They're all married. They're all in-laws. They know each other. They all sit on the same board for many years. And that's my project, to map those relationships and put it on my website.
Are you ever scared? Because exposing things like that, the ways people are making big money secretly within our government, seems like it could put you at risk.
Oh, yes, we had to change the way we live entirely, quickly. But, sometimes God calls you for a mission, and you must answer that call.
Republicans are in power right now, and, President Trump created DOGE. But do you think you're going to find a lot of corruption, not only with Democrats, but also with Republicans?
Oh, I already did. You see, the structure of the NGOs, the worst government-associated one was invented during the communist regime during Reagan. And we did this in order to fight communism around the world, fight the spread of communism. And what they did was they ended up setting up a soft power structures to influence the world to stop the spread of communism in the 80s. Well, the communism that we were fighting. So they created a situation structure where the Republicans and the Democrats work together. And then they decided to create the NED, and it splits. So the NED is split into the National Democrats and then the International Republican Institute. Democrats, Republicans are both under the NED. And the NED was designed to influence the world to stop the spread of communism. So they thought it would be fair. We'll give some money to the Republicans, some money to the Democrats, so that when they influence the world, they're getting both perspectives. But so when the communism in Europe you're fighting fell, the NGOs did not disband. Somehow they got bigger. They got more money. They got more power. And now they've truly become, they label themselves the protectors of democracy. And now they believe that any challenge to them is challenging, quote unquote, democracy. But really, it's the democracy they set up in this soft power structure underneath our law.
And it's Democrats and Republicans?
That's I cannot tell you enough how much both are involved. It is everywhere. Now we even have members of Congress. So we have sitting members of Congress that actually sit on the NGOs right now. They vote in Congress for money for themselves, and they sit on the same NGOs that they're voting to get money. It is a huge conflict of interest, and it's buried very deep.
Is it all about the money?
I think that people, they're the way of good.
Listen, I think they believe they're doing a good mission. I believe that they've told themselves that I think they truly believe that without their influence that the Western world will fall.
That's what their parents talk about.
And it means that their power is top priority. And that also means that obviously their finances are the top priority. So yes, to answer your question, it is all about the money. But they tell themselves a good story, all villains do.
Is there anything specific and new that you're finding recently that you can tell us about? Any certain groups or people?
Yeah, actually. So, recently, J.D. Vance, he did a speech in Europe, and he told the leaders, if you have a democracy, it means that you cannot censor people, period. Ooh, and that made a certain group of people very upset. But when I researched all the people who were very loud about how upset they were, they all had connections to these NGOs that are financed by government money. One very interesting person, Norm Isaac. One very interesting person, Norm Isaac, wrote a lot about how to start, kick off, and announce a color revolution. Interesting that he has an NGO called yeah, look my notes so I can't see it. Yeah. Also, yeah.
Burst.
This. That's pretty cool there, this.
Sen.
To be.
Sen. Okay. So. No.
So Norm Eisen, he runs an NGO called State United Democracies Center. State United Democracy Center. It's actually full of big names like Janet Napolitano, Tom Ridge, Michael Steele. Many famous names are involved in this specific NGO. Now, that NGO accepts $17 million in private donation. So I was researching. What do they do? Like, with $17 million, I started researching. But the only thing I could find, and I wasn't digging, but the only thing that I found, they made a knockoff Muppet show. You think I'm kidding? They actually made Muppets. But like knockoff puppets.
It's a computer that to with
And all the videos that they made with these knockoff puppets had less than 200 views.
this big men's.
So I'm wondering, all those big names, all those famous people at the NGO, and the only thing they did was $17 million was make a terrible Muppet show. They got money and they did something with that. It was just awful. Jim Henson would roll in his grave.
I saw the video on your ex of the Muppet.
Yes.
Says and
Yeah, I know.
because we because okay.
And it was weird because all the videos had less than 200 views.
So
And they didn't even try to promote them with ads or anything. So where did the $17 million go?
Big picture, with all the databases you're looking at and taxpayer money, how much do you think is being wasted or stolen?
Whew.
what's it? Upse bis aber wow. But was
If I had to guess, I would say it's over 100 billion. But what's more important is what they're doing with that money.
there is
They're using that money.
there is this
They use that money to shape the world of governments.
there is
They use that money
disrupt kind
to disrupt countries,
of employers
to influence the world.
and for the to but
And what they do with that money is just wrong, especially when they take it for themselves. Because the influence that they have from that money is from their own desires, not from a perspective of what the people are.
Has anyone tried to stop you?
but
No. You know,
I would so try
people are just,
most of it
most people I've seen, they're just they're just trying to figure out if I'm a hoax or not, really, I think. I don't think it's, I don't think it's sexist or anything like that. But of course, there are some. I think sometimes they think it's a hoax because a woman writing all that code can't be real. So it's funny. The most of the comments that I've seen is that they thought I was a man. They're all looking for a man behind this.
You have to be careful, though, with your security and your real identity. So you must be concerned.
I think the way puts I think it's at this we must
I think right now it's obvious. I'm putting in some personal details, and I haven't really done a good job hiding my face, really. But we're just trying to buy time to have more security in place. But doing this work, and it's public.
I'm just going back a little bit. Can you tell me a little bit about your background, how you were able to come up with these AI tools and know how to analyze the data this way?
So, like I said, I'm a database kernel engineer. And also, I've learned machine learning algorithms.
I don't do the background stuff.
So I just have a good background for all the technical perspective. Also, you know,
They be school, but
I have experience with making geospatial data, which is how I started to make all of the maps. That's why I use the term map, because geospatial, it's a very large build. And so I'm just going to keep building and building and building to map this whole thing out.
Is this just the beginning?
I think there's much more to do.
I think there's so much more that can be done.
Back for
Like I would like to add pack data or
the investor.
donations. There's a lot that can be added. This is only the start, barely scratching the surface.
Why you have the small r in DataRepublican?
So I mean that. Pretty good.
It's because I am not a pardon loyalist.
Supply the
I do not blind follow the Republican Party. And you know, since I figured out that the Republican Party is also corrupt,
it's most
it's become it's an even smaller R. The numbers don't lie. This is not a partisan issue, and if the American people understood completely what we're finding, there would be outrage across the board.
I know one, Brian.
Okay.
If regular people are really busy, they got kids, they got jobs, they got grocery bills, why do you think they need to be paying attention to this at this moment right now?
people having people understand.
Because the most important thing to understand about this is that all the politicians in DC
Global habit of their own client.
you have to understand that the global politics is their only priority. They believe that the world is run through private NGOs, you know? It's like
Against affection.
playing Game of Thrones, really.
Against into everything.
And then they ignore everything that happens at home, right?
Guess what?
That's why
That is it.
you never hear people, or politicians, I should say. That's why you never hear politicians talk about Hurricane Helene. You never hear them talk about healthcare. You never hear them talk about education. All of these things. The problems that actually impact the normal people. People need to understand that politicians, they don't care about that because they're all playing this game. It's the game of NGOs. It's the game of money and transferring power. And it's all about influencing foreign policy. Foreign policy influence is their world, which means home is not a priority.
For regular people out there, you know, busy with kids and jobs, but are interested in finding some of this waste, where do they start? How do they even begin?
Okay, I'd like you to go to my website, DataRepublican.com, and you can research yourself other options to become involved in the primaries.
In the parameters of
You know, the primary elections have low participation.
bird. So, okay.
Like,
To be the guy
two things that people can do. First,
they go to the first.
so my website, DataRepublican.com,
So, which is first.
and start researching for themselves. There's many options that you can search,
I just
but the best action that you could do is the second,
picked
vote in the primary elections.
well,
Please vote.
there's that sentence. No.
Polling attendance is so low. In the end, we need to kick out all the dirty politicians from both parties.
I don't know if people show that book.
And if people showed up for the primary elections, it would actually be easy to do that. Because the only reason these politicians stay is because participation is so low. And I think if people learn from the website, learn where the waste is, they want to participate more.
And just the last question I had, for so many people, politics is about emotion and which side they're on. For you, is all of this really just about the numbers? Do you just use the numbers?
Did you say that?
It's almost like you take the emotion out of it, it seems like.
Sis. I basically never see it.
Yes, for me, I'm analyzing the numbers to see where the money goes. The numbers don't lie, right? And look, they don't always say what I want to hear either, but they do tell me the truth. And the other thing that's important to understand is that data is not transparency. AI doesn't understand everything either. It's important to double check all of things and research everything, even with my website.
Is it going to take us, the American people, in the end to really hold these politicians accountable based on some of the information you found?
Absolutely, yes. Vote in the primaries. Call your politicians. Call them out. When they vote themselves, they vote for their money because their money is their power. We need to make sure they never receive another USA dollar again because those are our dollars. If they have no money, they have no power. If the money returns to the people, the power returns to the people. We need to do everything we can to get the power back for the American people. And only the American people can do that.
Is there anything we missed that you think people need to know about?
It's this like I bet based. Okay.
One thing that's important for everyone to know, it's not about left or right. Everyone is equally guilty. Both parties are equally corrupt. And the reason why...
Sister.
The reason why Trump had so much resistance
Is it the president is it open during this war?
because in 2016 he said he will drain the swamp.
Yeah.
And then
I think that it's okay.
I think maybe there was more slogans at the time, but that was when
Thanks to do something.
and that's when the NGOs started to show themselves.
I did not. I did.
Sorry, I'm just rambling, but now we understand that the people who are yelling the loudest are the ones who probably have the most to hide. Yes, exactly.
Also, look at big.
And also another important thing is that the NGOs hate
No.
people knowing what they're doing. That's why they're always hiding. Their power depends on the fact that we don't know what's going on. They understand that if the American people knew what they were doing with our money, we would all absolutely have a revolution against them. And that's why they hide. And that's why they support censorship and secrecy. That's why they get offended when J.D. Vance said a real democracy has no censorship in his speech. They depend on censorship to stay in power. Information is the most important tool we can use to weaken their power structure.